numbers.
Well, hello out there in Friendship Village land. This is your voice of Friendship Village coming at you today, and we have a special guest in our studio, our elaborate studio on the second floor. We have a special guest, and but I know you're thinking, well, he says that every time we have a podcast, but they're all special. So this one, I know you know who this person is, but we'll just hold off on her name for just a little bit longer. And first of all, let's tell you about who our sponsor is for this program. It is the Friendship Village nursing staff, all of them together, like 40 or so, plus or minus. And all the great things that they do here, all the various programs that they serve in, like Wellspring Living, and name another one, Mary.
They just take care of us. We
Yes.
call over there if we need help, and they send a nurse or a CNA over to help us, and they're just spread out all throughout the campus.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you won't walk very far around the campus here and not run into a nurse or so. I see a lot of them with their bag or their little wheelie thing that they pull behind them. They're here checking on people and
They have all their clients that they have to look after.
Yeah. Is there a special name for that bag, I wonder?
They have several bags.
Oh, I was thinking of the one with the wheels, but it doesn't matter.
Well, they carry the...
Well, anyway, we'll talk more with our guest about that in just a moment. And we'd also like to offer you a joke this afternoon it is. And now this scene takes place in a church. And this elderly lady arrives at the church, and it's her first visit there. And so she's greeted by the usher, and he says, "Well, hello, ma'am. Glad to have you here with us today. Could I help you find a seat?" And she says, "Yes, I'd like to sit down on the front row." And the usher says, "Oh, now wait a minute, ma'am. I don't think that would really be the best idea. You see, our pastor, he's a little bit, let's see, what can I say? He's a little bit boring, and I'm concerned you might fall asleep." And the lady became indignant, and she said, "Sir, do you know who I am?" And he said, "No." He said, "I am the mother of the pastor here." And, "Oh, dear," he says, "say, ma'am, do you know who I am?" And she said, "No." And he said, "Well, thank God for that." Okay, a chuckler, huh? All right. Well, let's begin. Our guest is Sherry Turner. So take it away, Mary.
All right. Welcome, Sherry, to our campus.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Sherry is with the nursing division over at the marketing building. And aren't you?
Administration building.
Administration building. There we go.
Is that where?
On the corner of
San Martin
Axis and Ninth, where they meet.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Where Lisa used to be.
She still is there.
Oh, she's still. Oh, I thought she was over here on the second floor.
No, she's still there.
Okay.
Sherry how long have you been with Friendship Village?
I started in November of 2015.
Okay. I came in January of 2015. So you came a little after I was here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did I come? Do you remember?
What?
When did I come?
After me.
After you?
Yeah, later that year, I think.
Okay. It's kind of like late fall, I think.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
I came in January 19th. Right to the Med Center. But anyway, welcome this afternoon, Sherry. We're going to find out a little bit about you and how you got here and where you came from and all that good stuff.
Sure.
So we'll start out with, where were you born and raised?
I was born here in Waterloo, Iowa. Born and raised here. started out in the Raymond area, close by. And then about 5th grade, moved to Cedar Falls and spent the rest of my elementary, junior high, and high school in Cedar Falls.
Okay.
And have kind of come back full circle. Now I live in Elk Run, which is very near where I started out at.
Right.
I went to Elk Run School when I was a child, so now just live down the street from that old building.
Okay.
So, yeah, I've been around the area.
Right. And then after you graduated from high school in Cedar Falls, where did you go to college?
As far as college goes, I mean, I've had a couple different experiences. Because nursing for me and what I do now is a second career. I was in business management for many years, 20 years in different businesses around town.
Really?
Chamberlain Manufacturing, Hudson Community School District, a lot of different places.
Mm-hmm.
So I had some college experience through Hudson Community Schools, becoming, I was on the path to becoming a certified school business manager. Actually was shy of about a week of finishing that program and ended up leaving the school district at that time. So college for me really started in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
So after dealing with some illness, some life changes, things like that, I was going to re-enter the workforce and looking at business and such. I thought, wow, I really need to sharpen my skills. I need to, maybe go back to school and do something a little different. And that's when I decided to become a nurse.
Mm-hmm.
So in 2008, I entered Kaplan University in Cedar Falls to get my LPN license.
Okay.
So that was the first time I went to school for nursing. And then in 2013, I went back to get my RN at Hawkeye Community College. And then after that, and it was 2017, I went back and got my BSN from Grand Canyon University. So,
Okay, and I see all those advertised on TV.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It was a good experience.
And in the meantime, you had your family.
Yes.
Met your husband
Uh-huh.
here in Waterloo.
Yes.
He a Waterloo native too?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he grew up right across the street from East High School.
Okay.
Yeah. He's been here all his life as well.
Okay.
He was in the Navy when he was younger. And he's actually, his background, he's been in the flooring industry.
Okay.
He's always either sold, managed stores, or installed hardwood,
Mm-hmm.
vinyl flooring, carpet, all those kinds of
Okay.
things.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So who does he work for?
He is retired,
Okay.
so he works for himself.
All right.
He
Works
still
when
does
he
some,
wants to
yeah,
work.
exactly. He still does some install work for people that reach out. He's had clientele for many, many years that call him up and say, "Hey, Jim, you still do flooring?" And he still does,
Mm-hmm.
just not every day.
Right. He can pick and choose.
Yes.
Right. And now you have a family.
Yes, I've raised 5 children.
Okay.
I've been married twice. So the first marriage, I had 2 children. My daughters, Faith and Abby, and went through a divorce, as many do, and met my husband Jim, who was also raising 2 little girls, and we put all our 4 little girls together,
Mm-hmm.
and they were, very close in age. And then we've had 1 child together. After those 4 girls, we got a boy.
Uh-huh.
So Jay came along, and so we've raised 5 kids.
What are their ages now?
Well, Jay is 21, and the older girls are grown and on their own. They're range from 29 to into their 30s.
Okay.
So.
And they all have careers and married and have children.
Yeah. We did lose 1 daughter, Felicia. She passed away in 2019 from multiple sclerosis.
Oh, that's too bad.
So, yeah, we miss her terribly, but she's she's not in pain anymore.
Right.
So, but we see her children quite a bit. We're actually a big part of her two children, Elizabeth and Travis, spend a lot of time with us.
Okay. They live right here in Waterloo.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. So we see them almost every day.
Mm-hmm. And other grandchildren live around here? Or
Yeah.
your children?
Actually, most of the grandchildren are around here. There's a few that we don't get to see a whole lot that live in the Missouri, state of Missouri, but the rest of them are in town here. We do see the majority of them. So there's 13 in town. So busy grandma. This week especially, I've got quite a few birthdays.
Okay. They all happen to have birthdays at the same time.
Yeah, they happen to have birthdays. There's about 3 of them this week alone. So lots of birthday parties.
Can you get by with one cake with 3 names, or 3 cakes each with a name?
We've tried different approaches. Most of there's a couple of the little girls that that's fine with them. They don't mind sharing their birthday with the other grandkids. So we try and combine them when we can, because there's just so many of them.
And you have a lot of school activities you have to go to also.
Yeah, I've done my share of cheering on teams, volleyball, football, music events. Yeah, there's always something for a grandparent to do. That's for sure.
So then, how did you acquire your job here at Friendship Village?
In 2015, I was, my previous job, I was working at Western Home Communities in Cedar Falls. And I was a nurse mentor, is what they called it, a nurse supervisor, for the dementia cottages that they have there. So that, it was a new endeavor there. I was really excited to be a part of that. But then I saw a job opening at Friendship Village, and what struck me about it was for the director of nursing. And what intrigued me about it was in the community, and this is, from an outside look where I was, Friendship Village was known for longevity, for people just working there, staying there. And when I saw that the director of nursing position was open, I was just like, wow, that would be something else to get that job. I had not been a director of nursing before that. I was, more in that nurse supervisor role, but I thought, well, why not? So I applied, and really, I, wasn't sure I would get the position, and they interviewed me. Sharon Holdeman was the previous director of nursing, and she was retiring, and it just, I think God had definitely, showed that to me, and I felt very led to join the Friendship Village team. So much so that I had in my home, I had a picture when you walk into my house in the foyer of kind of a farm scene with a tire swing, and right when you walk into my house, and I always liked that picture. My sister-in-law had given it to me for Mother's Day one year, and when I joined Friendship Village on my very first day on the job, I came into Sharon Holdeman's office, and I walked in her office. I hadn't been in her office before that. We did an interview in that office. When I walked in, I just gasped, and she said, "What's wrong?" And I said, "You have the same picture on the wall."
Oh, really?
That I have in my home. And I really felt that was a confirmation to me that I was in the right place.
The right place at the right time.
Yeah.
Wasn't her office over in the Med Center?
Yes, in the pavilion.
Yes, yes. And I met her the first day that I came here, January that year. She came to welcome me. She knew one of my daughters from Allen Hospital or something. But one of the daughters knew her, and they got contact with Sharon. And Sharon was ready to welcome me when I came, because I had to go right to the Med Center when I came.
Yeah.
So
she had a long career at Friendship.
Yeah.
She was there, I think, 15 years.
Wow.
Quite a while.
Yeah.
Quite a while. But it wasn't too long after that then that she left. Because
I came in November of that
yes,
year.
so she was in the process of leaving.
Yeah.
Did she retire?
Yes.
Yeah. Figured that. She was really very good though.
Yes.
Very,
very
good.
nice lady.
Very good in getting me established there. So I don't remember meeting you though right away.
Well, I don't think you were in the health center then, were you?
Yeah, I was in there for a few months.
In November?
No. I was in my own apartment then.
Okay.
No.
I was going to say, you were probably back to independent living by that point.
Yeah. So to speak. Anyway, so then you proceeded from there and worked in some of the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple of years ago, things changed.
Yeah, so the progression, I started off as director of nursing, and I had 2 assistant directors that were working with me. And basically what happened is the CMS, or the Center for Medicare and Medicaid that we hear so much about, there are regulation folks that set our rules for nursing homes, had just finished one of the biggest changes to Medicare in 25 years. So it was kind of an overhaul of nursing regulations for nursing homes. What it amounted to was a whole lot of work that needed to be done, and a whole lot of policies that needed to be written, a lot of changes. And what we seemed to be running into was, the director of nursing can't make all of those changes and still do a good job as director of nursing. It became quite obvious that we needed some help. One of the things that I really enjoy doing is teaching. So another piece that was kind of missing, or there was definitely a need, was someone to do some education as well, because those new policies also had to be taught, and it was just a whole overhaul that needed to be done. So they created a position for me called Director of Compliance and Education. So I took on that huge task of getting what they called the phases of participation, the 3 phases of changing the nursing home regulations, and worked on those specifically, and then also worked on the education piece that went with that, along with other educational programs. Lisa, the CEO, had also asked me to kind of take a charge at changing some of the culture, really working on, what makes Friendship Village, and how can we do a better job of onboarding and things like that. So,
are you the one that developed those 5 or 6 things?
No, I did not develop the core values. The mission statement and the core values were created in 2014 before I came.
Oh.
But I was a big part of getting the word out and teaching about them more and more. So when I became the compliance and education director, I took a step away from the DON position, and Remy Chahich, who was an assistant director, then became director of nursing, so I could work on that. Her and I worked closely together, though, because of all the regulations that needed to be upgraded. Right. So I did that job for a couple of years, and I, at the same time, was in school full-time online trying to get my BSN finished as well. So it was a busy time in my life, but
you did sleep during that
time. I did what I could to sleep. Yes.
Okay.
So after that, a couple years after that, then I was promoted to the executive director and vice president of health services. So in that role, and that's my title now, of course, help Lisa with a lot of things. And I oversee those clinical areas. So the nursing home, Lakeview Lodge, which is our assisted living, and the home health component that Friends at Home is working on is all report directly to me. So I oversee those areas and kind of give them that clinical perspective when they need it, and help, with the day-to-day activities. Another, what I feel is maybe one of my most important jobs is the onboarding that we do at Friendship Village. We have new employee orientation. So all the new hires go through a day where they spend time in our education center, and I do something called My Life training. And the My Life is one of our core values. It's basically, listening to you as residents, that you have a say in what we do in your home, and you have, you need to tell us how you would like to do things, and we need to make your life as good as we possibly can.
You just said their home, or your home.
Yeah.
And Lisa was big on that when we talked to her about this is our home, and you serve us in our home.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So the My Life training is something that, I take very seriously as probably one of my number one duties, is training the new employees of really, how do we treat those we serve? How do we talk to people? How do we greet them? What's the best customer service approach? How do we show hospitality? And then teaching those core values and really getting them to understand things, and to also kind of take a look at what is it like to walk in your shoes, because we need to have that sensitivity training to really understand, what it could be like for the day of a resident. Yeah. And everybody's different, but we try and, look at it from a lot of different angles to really get them to understand.
I don't expect that you'd recall this, but I went through your training.
Yeah.
Your day long, when I was applying to be a companion. So I remember 20 of us gathered in the room, and we had big sheets, and we were writing things and talking. It was a real lively group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where is the education center located here on the campus?
The education center is right below the marketing center.
Okay.
So behind...
There's kind of a parking lot in
there. Behind Lakeview Landing in the lodge, there is a small strip mall where marketing and HR, our employee gym, the Hive, are all located in that area, and the education center is in the basement of the marketing center.
Okay. That's right off of San Marnan.
Yes.
Right.
San Marnan.
San Marnan. Whatever that's called.
Okay.
Very good. Was it created as an education center a long time ago? Or was it just a...
It was, we developed that area, gosh, it's probably been 3 or 4 years now that we've used it. It's just a really good space. Before that, we were using actually a large conference room in Park Lane. I think it was room 165, kind of on the corner there, if you remember that old building.
Yeah.
So we had a long conference room, but it was very long and narrow, so it was kind of hard to teach in. Yeah. So having the education center was a great addition, because now we can do CPR training in there. We can do lots of different educational items for staff. We have 2 big screen TVs in there, so you can really see very well from everywhere in the room. And there's even a small computer lab on one side with a door that we can close, so you have some privacy to work on individual computerized programs.
And do the nurses and CNAs have ongoing training at times? You have sessions that come up that they have to attend to kind of keep going on and refreshing?
Yes, there is CPR training for nurses. That's pretty much every year. They recertify every 2 years. We also have dementia training that they have to do in the nursing center. They have to do 8 hours a year, and as well as the assisted living. They do a lot of, they can do some on the computer. We can do some hands-on. We actually have, one of the, I shouldn't say dolls, but one of the dummies, or, you know, one of the, I can't think of the word for it, but we do have that so we can practice different things. We do skills fairs where they can come in and just practice skills. So it is something that during the COVID years, it was, you know, some of those things just had to stay just on the computer because we couldn't get together as large groups. So now those things are starting to come back full force, and we're definitely, you know, looking into doing much more for hands-on education.
Okay.
Good. Well, I'm glad you took time out of your day to come and be interviewed by us so we could learn a lot more about what goes on around Friendship Village with all of our staff and your very big responsibility.
Thank you.
I was just thinking too of how many staff there are in the whole complex here that we wouldn't see day to day.
No.
I mean, a whole flock of people are over there and over here and everywhere.
Yeah.
Everybody has their place.
Yeah.
Yes.
And every place has somebody in it.
And it sounds to me, just personal observation, it sounds to me like you're a long ways from retiring because you've got goals and ideas for the future and future training and things.
Yes.
So, okay.
I'll be around for a while.
All right. Well, we are kind of coming to a close, and as we often do, let's close with this thought. May the good Lord bless and keep you till we meet again. Bye for now.
Bye.
Goodbye. Thank you.